Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the third to last episode. Second to last? If it's the third, if we have three remaining, it's third to last.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Welcome, everyone. Start over stream. Welcome to the third to last episode of ETRIAN Odyssey 4, the original lore playthrough. It took me until 2:30 p.m. today, but I have finished the prep for this episode. We've got both of our major cutscenes fully written out. We just finished running through them very briefly to make sure everything made sense. This is not the finale. No, believe it or not, this is not the last of the cutscenes.
Well, I would argue it's like the story finale. It's not the story epilogue, which is the finale in a different sense.
Somewhat, because we still have to fight the final super boss, and that's the finale.
True.
So
Yeah.
I would say the final episode has the super boss, the ending scenes, and the epilogue. There's really only one epilogue. Yes, this is the character arc climax. This music is so good. Listen, my goal at the end of this stream is that you are gonna go, what the fuck do you mean that's not the finale? That is my goal. Look at this beautiful 99s across the board. Look at Marnie, Adelaide. Oh, for those of you who are curious, Dell was the last non-retired party member to hit 99. And Adelaide is actually, I retired Adelaide and got her all the way back up to 99. So, lore-wise, she's done. She does not have to be leveled back up. She is as strong as she can possibly be at this point. But yes, so here, just to remind folks, tonight is just cutscene. It's just narration. We're gonna go to the gold cave where this is gonna take place. I'm gonna mute the background audio. It's gonna be sitting up there as background art. And we are immediately going to hop into cutscenes. We have 2 cutscenes tonight, and they are long. So a huge thank you ahead of time to Kate and even Color, who is volunteering to do one of the voices for us tonight. Emmy, did you have interest in participating? I never thought to ask you, and I apologize, but...
It's okay. I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cheering you guys from the sidelines. I'm far more comfortable that way.
I can easily make an adjustment if you're feeling left out.
No, I'm not feeling left out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I also invited Color and Emmy onto the stream because this is going to be the debut of 2 special pieces that I commissioned just for these scenes. And was more than happy to support them financially on. And they will be available as prints after this stream. One of them you can purchase directly from the shop. The other I will take orders for and ship them out once I get the opportunity. And it is now my secondary goal to do such a good job on these scenes, along with Kate, that you feel inspired to buy these prints. I do ask for some patience from you all because there is a lot of text to narrate. I'm going to be managing music, I'm going to be managing images, and at 2 points, I'm going to be narrating to a specifically timed song in relation to the text. There is a lot to do tonight. So we're going to get through the first cutscene. We're going to take a 10-15 minute break depending on how long the others joining me on this call want to take. We're going to go through the second cutscene. We'll have 10-15 minutes for commentary from you all if you want to share your thoughts and feelings, because I worked really hard on this, and Kate's going to work really hard on this tonight. And then we're done for this episode. And then next Wednesday will be the grind stream. It's just finishing up everything else for 100% besides the super boss. And then the week after that Wednesday will be the true finale with the final fight, the ending scenes, the epilogue. So we're nearing the end. Anyway, this is your 2 reminders. 1, if you haven't finished reading that story so far document, you have like 5 minutes to catch yourself up. And 2, this is definitely a story stream to pay attention to. Use the bathroom right now, get your water if you have to, settle yourself in, because there's going to be a lot of visual describing going on. and I did my best to make it very easy to picture it in your mind. But if you zone out, or if you get distracted, or if you're trying to do something else, you're gonna clock back in and go, wait, what the hell happened? And I have it on good authority, Kate is the good authority, that every beat of these scenes is good and has a purpose. So...
What if I was like, except that one line, that one's not good.
I actually did it.
True.
I actually did answer Jonathan's question before. I said, no, I haven't. So, hasn't changed from last time. Neither have I seen Minions 4. Pretty damn good authority. Okay, so, brief
Just don't
siesta.
call me a cop.
Brief siesta. Get your water. Use the bathroom. In about 5 minutes, we're gonna start up. So. Boy.
Love that he started stream and then left.
I
He's
know.
Well, excited? Well, bye.
That's just Sean for you.
That's
Oh. He started very close to on time, and I'm very proud of him.
good for him. Doesn't he do this every time? There are rare instances that I am very proud of him for where he's actually on time. Then there's always something afterwards, but that's okay, we're still proud of him.
Log, one of us will let Sean know when he gets back.
Voices are a wee bit quiet.
Oh, the game music's not going to be what's playing, though, because it'll be YouTube
Yar.
music. But we'll
Yar.
we will sound the alarm.
It's so colored, but the rest of you goobers should know you're a goober. Oh, that, yeah. No, I'm segregating birds and bots from now on. They're not allowed to be together. That's my new regime. I'm sorry. Vim's not allowed to date Nightbot anymore. I'm sorry, guys. Goodbye.
Finally. Maybe I'll win something.
I'm tearing this family apart, and I'm okay. Your stream? No, our stream. I'm sorry, I am getting the cold shakes. Why is it so cold lately?
It's winter.
Winter cold. Turning up the heat.
Is it snowing where you are?
I don't think so, and I'm afraid to find out.
I know Ackle and Ever.
That's why I asked, yeah.
They were in Sendai, and Sendai could stay the hell away from Tokyo.
I didn't see where they were. I just was like, ah, Japan, snow.
Yeah, no, it's getting cold enough. I feel like snow could happen.
So the voices are a bit quiet under the main game music, but the current sound is balanced for the YouTube music that I'm going to be playing. So, for example, this is what you're going to hear as we do the first cutscene. So as you can see, it's balanced for the YouTube music, and then even if we do something a little bit louder, so I'll do a piece of a louder one just so you can see what it's going to be like. Not this one, not this one, not this one, this one. So that's about what the volume is going to be like when we're narrating those cutscenes. So, Kate, Color, if you can talk a bit.
Hi, talking a bit. La, da, da, da.
Okay. Sounds perfect? Perfect. Okay. All right, y'all. Oh my God. I'm so nervous, you all. Kate will tell you, when I was driving to sessions, driving back from sessions, Color's a bit quieter than Kate. Let me see if I can boost them up a bit.
Let me turn my gain on.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Kate will tell you, driving to sessions, driving from sessions, every time she'd be like, what you thinking about, Bug? There would always be a 2-second pause before I'd go, ETRIAN. And it was because I was writing cutscene snippets or planning out music or something. Color. I'm trying to figure out. As I close Telegram, can you? I'm gonna message you something on Telegram if you can do that for me real quick.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Kate, Color, Emmy, you all ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Chat, how is this text size? Does this work for you? Perfect, looks good. All right. So we'll talk briefly on what's been happening as I head over to this place. When we over the course of this grand game, we've had many different characters with many different story arcs. Selene had their moment, Marnie definitely had their moment, Roland had probably one of the coolest moments in the entire series. But we found about halfway through the game that X and Flo both have the curse, and the respective curse. X has the demonic possession, and Flo has this mysterious seal that has been placed. And Teleko says, I'm unfortunately too weak to undo either of those for you at this point in time, but if you can gather the power of the 3 elemental dragon crystals, I believe that with their powers combined, I can be Captain Planet and assist you in getting rid of what ails you. Trying to figure out the best way to get here. So it took a long time. It took a long, long time. But I'm going to figure out which of these caverns is correct. Toxic Cave. Nope. Maze List? Yes. That's 2. All right. Trying to remember what that entry point is. I think we can get there from here, yes. So after a long road, not only did the party manage to collect all of the crystals that they needed, but they also managed to get themselves as strong as they can possibly get at this point in time. And so, with the crystals in tow, and at the maximum of their current potential, I have to head back and get rid of that. Ta-da-dum. Stopped by a single set of fire scales. Yes, there's giant fire scales in here, but ignore the battle. It's okay. It only matters as strong as they possibly are. They are too afraid. I'm too afraid of these guys, so they're running. They're like, we've got a mission. We've got something to do. Yeet! And so we find ourselves here in the Bushi village. And so our story begins. We've got to bring some people up here. We've got X. We've got Adelaide. We've got Marnie. We've got Dell. We've got Flo. We've got Roland. And we've got Selene. So, with that said, dancing with the devil. If the dim walls of the Golden Lair's cave system normally offered little in the way of illumination, that darkness only managed to emphasize how much Teleko's expression seemed to light up the rest of the room, in addition to himself. the moment he spotted the full membership of the Guild Catalyst approaching him again at last.
Now this is a surprise. The kids are willingly coming to see Grandpa. And here I thought that was a trait only the other Sentinels were renowned for.
Didn't be getting me mixed up into this with the wee ones, you old codger.
Adelaide snapped back.
Else we need to get treating you like your good eyes finally packed it in.
You're absolutely right. Please accept my sincere apologies, men. From one ancient relic to another.
He winked, doing his best to offer his cat-like charm to a fellow cougar. Perhaps it was only because of their similar age that she allowed it without further incident. Turning to Flo, he noticed a particularly dour expression on the younger party member.
And what's got you wearing that face? You think you're staring at a ghost or something?
Well, if I can be honest, Flo replied, part of me thought I would be. I was convinced you'd somehow have passed on by the time we finally got back to you. The elder boisterously laughed, making no effort to stifle his amusement.
Look at the gumption on you. Got your first taste of newfound power, and already you think you can outlast your old man.
I didn't say anything about that. I just meant I'm glad that you're still here. You're the only connection I have left to my family at this point.
I know.
Teleko playfully conceded, ruffling the young landsnack's hair with a soft paw.
Trust me. There's no way I could rest in peace knowing the craziness you all keep getting up to out there. It's nice to know you're thinking of me, though. Just as long as you're not letting it distract you into putting yourselves into real danger.
I'm pretty sure it was you who told Flo he had to put himself in real danger.
X was quick to correct.
Otherwise, we never would have acquired these.
She motioned to the other remaining members of the active party. Marnie, Selene, and Adelaide, in turn, each took an opportunity to come up and briefly join her, before removing the knapsack they each wore and retrieving one of the dragon crystals they had been assigned to carry with them into the cavern.
My goodness,
Teleko muttered, gazing across the trio of prestigious pearls of power as each was placed together in a small pile before him.
There they are, every bit as beautiful as the legends made them out to be. Your medic friend might have already shared the news, but that doesn't beat still seeing them with my own eye.
Moments later, a familiar and brilliant glow began to emit from the spheres as they sat together, much like when they had first joined each other on the Harmonia. This time around, their light was even more noticeable without the sun's natural rays to obscure it. Pretty as they are, though, Marnie added, they're still every bit mysterious and intimidating. She looked at them with a mix of both reverence and resistance, all too aware and a little proud of how something so alluring could hide a much deeper strength. We still haven't figured out what makes them glow like that. Flo said you mentioned being able to help put them to use if we managed to collect them all. I'm hoping you can still make good on that offer. Teleko couldn't help but smirk at this request.
Are you sure you want me to give away the answer? From what I heard, it sounds like you were perfectly content to try and figure it out yourselves without me.
Ugh, of course he'd snitch on us.
X groaned, turning to look at Dell.
You know, I only asked you to let him know what we'd been up to. That doesn't mean you had to tell him every single detail.
Dell simply shrugged his shoulders in response.
Don't chastise him too much,
Teleko said through a gentle smile.
After all, no one ever died from having someone that cared about them enough to share their concerns. I bet Kibagami over there would just about throw another celebration feast if he got wind of you all looking out for each other.
Please, no more distractions.
X impatiently pleaded.
If folks want to celebrate, we can throw a huge event after everything is said and done. But we did our part, so...
I hear you, and I agree. You've done the hard work, so no more delaying the well-earned reward.
Nodding in assurance, the Ocelot then brought his eye to meet Flo's in a focused determination.
So, kiddo, you ready to see just what kind of power your mother left for you to inherit?
Even though he had been wanting to receive that offer since the first time he met his mentor, actually hearing it from Teleko gave the young hero pause. This was really it. catalysts of his own grand change were sitting right in front of him, brimming with strength yet untapped. But as he looked over the others in the party, and settled on one in particular, he took a deep breath and cemented the decision in his mind before looking back at the ocelot and shaking his head. No, not yet. At least not before X. Teleko's expression didn't budge. Flo wasn't sure if he was assessing an unexpected response, or simply confused that his student wouldn't jump at the chance he had just been presented with.
Your friend should go first. Is that it?
The feline father figure eventually asked, before sighing.
I did say that I would do everything in my power to help you both. But you should know that I'm not as powerful as those dragons must have been. If it turns out we only have enough to help one of you,
I know. Unchanging in his own posture, Flo's expression now held a kind of renewed confidence that contrasted how exhausted he'd seemed back when the grand quest was still a brand new challenge. And my answer remains the same. Having this seal placed on me hasn't stopped me from getting stronger anyway, and I've been able to do it at my own pace besides. But X has been fighting for her life since the moment we met her. And even though the world is supposed to be at peace right now, she's anything but. X glanced at Flo from nearby with a sense of both worry and appreciation. She wanted to call his name, wanted to rebuke him, and say that it was okay for him to have the privilege of being helped by his own mentor first. But in her silent heart, she agreed with what he was saying, and wanted more than anything for the hope and quiet she felt in her body as she listened to him, to be what she felt most of the time, not just in that fleeting moment. I have as much time as I need to figure things out on my end, Flo concluded, but none of that strength matters if I can't use it to protect even those standing right next to me. So please, help me help her. Oh, I have to link my dad to this. Hold on. Da-da-da. There we go. Several moments of careful silence passed as both teacher and students scanned each other's expressions. The easy winds of the cave howling their gasp of tension while winding past the two and through to the next cavern corridor just beyond. It was Teleko who eventually broke that tension first, tilting his head back and letting loose an exhausted sigh as his arm came to rest against his body once more.
You're a stubborn one. Every bit as she was. But this isn't the response I would have gotten from you all those years ago, or even the last time I saw you. You've really grown into your own, kiddo.
So you'll help us? Flo pressed.
I will. At least as much as I'm able.
But he sighed again, almost hesitant to disappoint someone who he now had that much more respect for.
This might have to be one you all manage yourselves.
X looked about ready to challenge the ocelot to a fight, given the frustration mounting in her at those words. This didn't go unnoticed by Flo, who shared her sentiment as he looked back at the Bushi in a way that heavily implied he needed to clarify himself as soon as possible.
I promise you, I wasn't lying when I said those crystals have the strength to undo either one of your curses, Teleko reluctantly continued. But knowing what they can do and how to do it are two different things. Flo here has a natural attunement to the elements that these very crystals represent. It'll be a simple matter to turn his mastery of them into a means of commanding them to do his bidding.
Then, looking at X, he added,
But for someone without that attunement, you wouldn't know if the same method works. And without that mastery, feedback from the crystals may be too great for your body to bear. I promised you that I would help, but that doesn't mean I'm going to let you get yourself killed through guesswork.
So what? We came all this way for nothing?
X was visibly upset now, and perhaps justifiably so.
Were you spouting all that nonsense last time just to give us enough hope that we'd take your little request on? I can understand if talking is what you're best at now, if your body can't handle the labor of doing the actual work.
X, that's too far! Flo chided her in response, but the ocelot stopped him before he could distract her fury away from himself.
Let her have her anger flow. More than ever, it's important that she be able to hold on to the emotions that are still her own, Taleko reminded him. And besides, she has every right to be upset with me. A promise is still a promise, even if the actual solution hasn't been discovered yet.
Even so, Flo insisted, time isn't really a resource we have a lot of anymore. The dragon crystals are right there. We have them. And if you're saying that even this isn't enough, then I don't know if there's anything better we can find before...
I may be able to help with that.
A new voice suddenly broke through the tense argument as Selene stepped forward from the rest of the party, his stance and demeanor as calm as they ever were.
You keep minimizing the audio in Discord.
Oh. There you go. Ta-da. I did not know that, so I'll keep it in mind.
Perhaps the elements are not the focus here, and maybe the aura of the crystals themselves that we can use.
Selene, you're saying you might have an answer? Flo asked, with a mix of both curiosity and intent. Also, are you saying the music cuts out when I minimize, or just...
Whatever you were doing before, where it said you were stopping, it said you had your application paused.
So I can't minimize it. All right, cool. The Arcanist nodded gently in reply.
As I'm sure you're all aware, the crystals have been giving off a powerful aura of sorts since we first gathered them all together. However,
he paused, gesturing his thin staff in X's direction.
X is the only one of us who has actually attempted to use their power. So I wish to ask, what happened in that moment? What did you feel?
Loath as she was to think back to that moment, X was willing to revisit all of it if it meant possibly finding a new lead.
Before the pain took over,
she began.
I remember feeling this strong, intimidating presence. I mean, they came from dragons after all, but it just seemed like a general, overwhelming power. At least until the moment I focused on one specifically, and then...
And then? Del repeated, already invested in the sharing of this newfound knowledge.
All of a sudden, it was like this broad, massless energy suddenly snapped to attention and focused entirely on me.
The Night Seeker held her hand out in front of her, the same one that had grasped against the elemental orb back during that moment in time, as she fanned her fingers out in the same way as well.
All at once, it felt like whatever I was trying to do had been overpowered, replaced by this growing, hungry force that wanted to suck my own power out of me instead.
A killing intent, Del whispered aloud in realization. X looked to him suddenly, then back to Selene.
Are you saying...
I can't say for sure, Selene admitted. But if what Taleko says it's true, it makes a lot more sense. Without an elemental attunement, you have no control over the crystals. Attempting to use them would only result in that force being used against you in retribution.
He smiled, bringing his staff back to himself as he adopted a pose reminiscent of his typical ritual stance, before adding,
However, if I concentrate, I believe I can weave that very malice into a different kind of force. One that the demon possessing you cannot hope to compete against.
Selene, you magnificent bastard, Roland gleefully praised, using the fact that the crystals are outright rejecting her as the means by which we can help her. Even the wisest wizard wouldn't think to do something so contrary to the entire process of properly wielding magic.
Even still, it will require my full concentration at all times during the ritual if I'm to prevent it from going awry,
Selene was quick to advise.
At my current strength, I believe I can manage to both wrest the demon out of her, as well as prevent it from escaping once it is. But I can't also prevent it from simply attempting to repossess her after that happens. It will be her task to decide what happens next.
Then let's get ourselves ready for a good old showdown to the death.
X, having already resolved to follow through on Selene's plan, barked at Taleko with renewed fervor.
Hey, old man, here's how you can help me. Go tell Kibagami to move the villagers as far away to the other side of the village as possible. They don't need to see how much of my own malicious intent I'm capable of giving.
Teleko did not respond, but instead closed his eye in careful acknowledgement before rousing himself to do as she requested.
And Solane?
She continued, turning to look at the human-turned vessel she once knew so well.
I don't think I have to say it, but if anything goes wrong, and that demon or the dragons manage to get control of me instead, well, I don't want to think about what all that malice could do at my current level of skill. So if at any point it truly looks like I've lost myself...
She paused, ruminating for a moment before solidifying.
Make it quick. Make it ruthless. And don't let a single part of me escape intact.
Solane, without a word, nodded in understanding. Some time passes. I was so hopeful this would not happen. Reconnection successful? Okay. Okay. Are we back? Hello? Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. We should be back. We are back.
My line?
Yes, but hold on. Chat froze when that happened, so I'm gonna close chat and then bring it back in my case. Docs, chat. We are good, yes. Please pause and unpause if you... We just had a slight hiccup. I'm hoping it's the one thing. Let's not jinx it. Let's just keep going. So, some time passes, and then... I'm gonna restart song. Here we go.
All right. Let me just run everything by you one last time.
Some time later, with the innocent denizens of the Sentinel Village safely moved well away from the site occupied by Teleko and Guild Catalyst, X checked back in with Solane as the two of them completed their final preparations.
First, we're gonna piss off the dragons.
I'm going to activate the crystals, Solane corrected her. But yes, I'll need to do so in a way that makes use of their apparent dislike of you.
Sounds great. I hate them just as much, so I'm sure we'll all have a grand time talking it out in this melting pot of malice.
In any case, he continued, I'll first use the combined malice between you and the demonic presence to create a sort of barrier. It will prevent anyone from either entering or exiting the space it occupies, and should hold as long as you both maintain that malicious intent.
You know, it sounds a lot cooler if you say it's something like, desire to mutilate, right?
X mocked playfully. Well, if refusing to will only make you more upset, then it's better if I continue to deny you the pleasure, Solane cheekily retorted. Once I've confirmed that the barrier is in stable condition, I'll need you to draw the attention of the crystals once more.
Are you saying I need to have them in there with me?
X inquired, thinking back to the physical contact that served as her first encounter with their divine wrath. No, that only appeared necessary for a transfer of power. As long as you can make them wish for judgment once again, that should be enough for me to grab hold of their desire to make it so.
Got it. So, focus on wanting to kill that demon first, then piss off the dragons. Thanks for clarifying that.
The smallest hint of Solane's eyes rolling at her jest was plenty enough to amuse her, but she concluded the conversation with a sincere,
But seriously, thank you.
before moving herself to her own designated position. Solane, himself taking a slow and focused breath, alerted the others to signal that they were ready at last. All right, everyone. I'm going to begin the ritual. With the others standing nearby in careful anticipation, Solane proceeded to take his position at the agreed point as he calmly reminded them of the gravity of the situation. Please remember that this involves a great deal of focus and involves arcane energies. Whatever you are able to see, there will be much more happening underneath that you don't. So for your safety, do not try to intervene during the process. And especially, he sternly added, clasping both hands against his staff as he stood it directly in front of him, do your best not to interrupt my part in it. with the acknowledgments of the rest of the group, and after a final non-verbal confirmation from X, the Arcanist turned his full focus onto the Nightseeker standing between him and the cluster of crystals, tapping his staff once more into the ground as he began to channel his energy into it. As the first steps of the plan began to take hold, the once bright display of the glowing elemental orbs started to dim against the growing presence of a new, almost sinister darkness. Just beneath Selene's feet, shadows creeped carefully from his heels, like oil frothing out of a fissure in the earth, snaking against the bottom of his staff for support before beginning to tendril out some distance towards the waiting assassin. She, too, felt a sudden pulse within her mind, but rather than fight it, she only fed her discomfort into it, watching the tension in her muscles writhe along her limbs as the air around her began to bubble with tiny pieces of her malice made corporeal.
I hope you know what you're doing, Solane,
She thought to herself.
because I don't like how good this feels.
Before long, the party's line of sight to X had become obscured, even if not completely blocked. Where at first she was easily within their view, there now existed a dome of sorts separating her from the rest of the cavern. Across its surface, hexagonal tiles appeared to shimmer and pulse with a lack of any distinct rhythm. And in the crooks of the corners where they met, the malice condensed into distinct violet spikes that only further threatened to harm any who tried to breach its protective shield. "How are you holding up?" Selene asked a few moments later, in a low but serious tone. Despite his lack of volume, the utter silence by the rest of the party made it easy for X to pick out his voice.
I feel warm,
She replied.
restless.
Is it a new sensation?
No, I've felt this plenty of times before.
She added, taking care not to distract herself too much.
It's hunger. And now that it's active, it won't go away until I feed it. I need to kill. Soon.
Then direct your attention to the crystals. You will have your prey soon enough.
As instructed, X proceeded to glance at the other end of the barrier, through its translucent tiles, to the crystals sitting just outside. Though their colors were far more muted with the barrier in between, she was still able to focus on one in particular, that of the Storm Emperor, its yellow hue reminding her of the serpentine creature's roar as she helped drive the final strike into its body.
Are you still mad I took some of your power for myself?
She thought in silence.
You probably could have stolen it back if you weren't trapped in that orb. Sitting there, watching all of us grow even stronger thanks to you. It must drive you insane.
She then expanded her focus to take in the sight of the other two crystals as well, until all three of them, and their prior owners, were floating freely in her mind and exposed to her venom-soaked words.
Well, newsflash, you elemental salamanders. I've been dancing in that madness a lot longer than you. So if you want to take that power back from me, you'd better start keeping pace.
From outside the barrier... Oh, I need to... What's this out? From outside the barrier, Roland's body suddenly shivered involuntarily. Sensing an unexpected wave of energy, he looked over to the dragon crystals to find them glowing more intensely than before.
The crystals. They're reacting to something.
Not just them, Marnie chimed in. Look! Pointing towards the barrier, the group saw X start to falter before bracing herself against the ground once more. Did I lose you again?
Oh, the music cut out. I'm here.
No, it was fading out, yes.
Solane,
She alerted him through a staggered breath.
get ready. It's happening!
Moments after X's sudden exclamation, a powerful pulse erupted from the nearby force field, shuddering it in place before vibrating throughout the cavern as a whole, as water droplets were forcibly ejected away from their rocky homes. The purple spines of concentrated malice that filled the nooks between each tile seemed thrust out even more dangerously than before, as if a nearby threat had spooked the arcane porcupine into putting its quills on full display. And inside, the air within the arena became thick with a growing denseness that seemed to drag X's body harder and harder towards the ground, as though gravity itself was caving under the pressure of the force now pulling on her limbs.
Ah! Shit! This really hurts!
X painfully proclaimed, gritting her teeth as she pushed back against the mounting forces. She looked to Selene, who was clearly feeling at least some of the strain for himself. Same effects as well. His legs, which at first were solidly planted, had started to bend as he braced himself against his staff. So too did the tendrils within his spell circle seem unsure of what to do, some of them writhing in a mix of panic and fear as the rest continued to hold firm to the staff feeding them his focused aura. As it was, she could tell he was in no position to guide her further without risking his concentration.
What's the matter, you stupid dragons? Does not being in your original forms make you that much weaker?
She could only get out a few of the words at a time before having to catch her breath, but she found that the more she spoke, the more her genuine anger seemed to help her push through the pain.
Well, I got more bad news for you. I already have someone trying to take over my body. So unless all three of you want to accept defeat from a no-name demon, how about you stop being such a bunch of lizard-like losers and do something about it?
You are so fucking good at this, Kate. Before she could say anything further, another immense pulse successfully brought her down to one knee, the sight of which finally elicited a response from at least one member of the group. X, don't give up! Dell called out, causing her to crack a smirk.
What? And miss out on getting to watch my two worst enemies eat each other alive?
She laughed in between grunts, struggling to keep her head held up as she let her other knee come to rest against the earth.
Not a chance in...
Suddenly, the particles of malice that had littered the interior of the arena seemed to shudder in place, held from their movement by the same force that was pulling against X's body with each passing moment. The rest of Guild Catalyst watched as they seemed to freeze in time before pulling inwards towards a central point just in front of the Night Seeker. Faster, faster, the tiny slivers of darkness sped to their meeting spot, the formless mass beginning to take shape as it writhed in much the same way that Selene's aura did in response to each wave of energy emanating from the barrier. Also, holy shit, the way the music timed to faster, faster, I am shaking right now. It was Marnie who first realized what was happening, her voice caught between elation and worry as she suddenly cried out, It's him! It's the demon! True to her words, the cloud of dark energy had suddenly taken on a much more familiar appearance, as limbs began to form and join to a torso that slowly tapered off into a wisp of energy, tethering it to X's core. Like her, it seemed to be actively fighting against the invisible force that yanked at them both. But unlike the assassin, it did not have the ability to ground itself against the surface below. Before long, it seemed as though nearly all of its presence had been forcibly ejected from her body, but that tether still remained, the last connecting string of its influence over her person.
Got you. Right where I want you.
X mocked it from her position. She grunted heavily as she attempted to lift a hand holding one of her knives, but found that the strain was just too much against the unusual feeling of having something that was part of her for so long being pulled out of her, as well as the immense weight of the malicious aura filling her every breath.
Now, I just need to...
Her effort to take a swing, however, proved to be a step too far. A sudden shift in balance was all it took for her to lose hers entirely as she fell to the side. The demon, sensing this lapse in her concentration, took no time at all to act on it. In the short span of time it took her to catch her breath, it wrenched itself back into her, disappearing once more into her body as she gasped with a renewed awareness. Perhaps ironically, the demon's returned presence within her now gifted her the strength to resist that malicious aura once more.
Damn it. So that's how it's going to be, huh?
She cursed aloud.
Can't live with you, can't live without you. You manipulative, persistent son of a...
Selene, you have to stop this! Flo cried out, his concern mounting by the second as X's body continued to thrust abruptly in her struggle. This is too much! The strain is going to kill her! I no longer have a choice, Selene rebuked, his words tinged with their own strain as he did his best to hold focus over the ritual despite the interruption. The malice of both the demon and the crystals are being used against their will. Breaking my hold will mean setting them loose within this very cavern and upon everyone nearby. You're going to let her die? The Lanceneck asked incredulously. That is not my choice to make, Flo! The Arcanist suddenly piped back, catching the guildmate off guard. It is hers! If you believe in the strength she has needed to keep herself from turning over before, then you must trust it even now. Just as I trust her to decide when her fight is over, and who she will allow to be the victor. Unable to find the justification to protest further, Flo could only wordlessly look on at the cage of malice containing their friend. Meanwhile, X's thoughts raced with their own argument as she battled with the choice they had presented.
There really is no going back from this point, is there?
She mused to herself.
Whatever happens next, I either leave this cave alive, as myself, or dead.
She glanced at her fist, planted firmly against the ground, her fingers trembling as they did their best to keep hold of the knife still clutched against them.
Wouldn't that be the best middle finger I could give? Denying that demon the chance to take me over once and for all, just to see the look on his face.
Then, in that moment, in the flurry of formless thoughts whirling about her far too fast for her to capture, a lone thought surfaced that rose up from the drowning waters of her mind.
I wonder if he would even let me die.
As her guildmates continued to watch in patient worry, X suddenly stood up with unusual firmness.
I'm not done fighting you, you body-stealing asshole!
She voiced with disgust, raising the knife in her hand before gripping it with dedicated intent.
If you want to possess me, you can have fun trying to reanimate a goddamn corpse!
X? What? No! No! Flo refused, stopping himself just short of actually shoving Selene to forcibly break the ritual. What are you doing? You got this far! We couldn't have gotten this far without you! Whatever you're thinking, it's not worth it! Not after coming this close! You can't just throw your life away!
I'm not throwing my life away!
X defiantly cried, turning her knife inwards to point directly over her heart.
I'm taking my life back!
Then, with a forceful thrust, she plunged the blade directly into her chest, a blood-curdling scream of anguish drowning out Flo's protests as a spray of dark liquid erupted from the point of entry. But as the initial cloud of blood began to dissipate, the members of Guild Catalyst saw through it that X was still standing. And not just that, but smiling more gleefully than they had ever seen her smile before. What they thought was blood once again suddenly reversed course as it violently rebounded back into that same familiar form from moments ago. And the demon, still crying out in surprise and fury at the otherwise fatal blow it had rushed to take in her stead, clutched at its head as it worked to bring all of its essence back together.
That's what humans call a bluff, you soulless sack of shit.
She seethed, grabbing the tether of the demon's essence firmly in her hand and raising the knife once more.
And you fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
With an effortless swipe, she proceeded to sever the connection between the two of them, wrenching the last of his hold over her like an unwanted umbilical cord as it detached from her and evaporated without her nourishment to keep it intact. Oh my god! You did it! You did it! Roland explosively cheered, leading the others to voice their own support as well as the group collectively heaved cries of jubilation at what they just witnessed. But X, for all her renewed confidence, was quick to silence them in the scant few seconds she'd earned for herself.
Shut up, all of you! Solene's still fighting for his life over there!
She pointed in his direction to the Arcanist who was watching all of this unfold with solemn but sweating determination.
Which means I still have one more fight of my own left to finish.
Pointing her knife at the demonic entity, now finally beginning to return to proper focus, She turned her attention back to it.
Never engage an opponent where you're at a disadvantage. That's one of the most important rules to surviving as a mercenary. But in all the time you were trying to take over my mind, you never managed to learn that little piece of information? No wonder you needed my help to keep your sorry ass alive.
Enraged, the demon tried at once to force itself back into her body again, reaching out with a clawed hand as it shot forward towards her core. But before anyone else could react, they instead saw it just as quickly bounce off of her body, repelled by an unseen force that kept it at bay from her the same way the arena walls prevented entry by the rest of the world. It hissed at her in confusion, trying once more in a vain attempt, only to be met with the same firm rejection.
Sorry, but there's no room left in here for you. My malicious intent is just taking up too much space for me to focus on anything besides killing you.
X continued, growing more empowered by the minute.
But it wasn't just you who needed to stay alive, was it? If I died, you died too. Is that your dirty little secret?
She grinned with mocking confidence as she continued to address the demonic entity catching its breath before her.
All those times you drove me to hunt for you, all those cravings I had, they were yours, weren't they? You didn't just need to feed to stay alive, you needed me to feed you. And if I stop, you won't have the strength to survive. A truly pathetic excuse for a parasite.
She thrust her weapon out at him, her voice defiant in its disgust.
You're scared, and there's no room for that kind of weakness in my body. It can go right back to hell. No, better yet, I'll erase it from this world entirely, along with you.
Her proud claim was met with an equally loud refusal, the walls of Selene's makeshift cage of malice shuddering violently as the demon roared with renewed commitment to claim her. X didn't react at all. Instead, with the same precise movement she'd ambushed so many victims with before, she bent down into a readied pose, glaring directly at her opponent as her venomous voice goaded.
Bring it on.
The curse-fueled foe needed no further incentive, rearing back to display itself before beginning to rush forward in its first assault. But no sooner had it begun moving than it felt itself stumble to the ground. In surprise, it looked up just in time to see the Nightseeker's afterimage beginning to disappear. X, having already moved behind the demon faster than the eye could process, had stuck a knife cleanly into the space between its ethereal shoulders, paralyzing the muscles temporarily as it fell face first against the arena floor. Fervently, the demon whipped itself back up to face her again, spinning around with such force that it ejected the knife out at a speed that stuck it into the wall of the cage instead. But by the time it could look upon her again, 2 more throwing knives whistled through the air before embedding themselves in its eyes as the assassin confidently stood back up from her position.
You're surprisingly sloppy for something that taught me how to do most of this.
She called out, watching on in almost sadistic glee as the demon grabbed at the metal blades sunk deep into its skull and worked to pull them out with great effort.
Or was it because you needed a vessel strong enough to pull it off in the first place? Maybe I should be thanking you for that.
As she spoke, though, she reached behind herself, past the various poison-tipped knives nestled in her belt, to grab for something else instead. The bow on her back detached into her hands, the string drawing back as she gloated the first arrow against it and focused her aim towards the writhing enemy.
But to be honest, I don't want to hear you saying you're welcome. I just want you to drop dead.
Having finally yanked the venomous knives out, her enraged target furiously cast them aside in either direction, watching them with disgust as they clattered against the earth before turning to glare at her instead. The green and yellow hues of the poisons left behind filled its eyes with pupils that stared at her with the same look she used to give others as it gave out a battle cry. But X merely stared back with calm and pity, waiting until its shriek ceased before she flatly replied,
Yeah, fuck you too.
With a gentle slip of her fingers, the knocked arrow shot forward with absolute precision, finding its mark a split second later as it ran through the demon's chest and poked the tip out through the other side. The force of the blow caused it to step back, that brief hesitation giving all the time needed for X to have loaded another arrow against the string. A second later, it launched forward and struck one of the outstretched arms that threatened to tear her apart. A third, a fourth, a fifth, a volley of arrows closed the distance between them over and over again in the seconds that followed, each one landing with pinpoint accuracy where it was meant to be. The force of each blow knocked the demon further and further back until it felt itself backed up against the wall of the magical cage that contained them both. And moments later, another volley of arrows had pinned its body against that wall, its joints unable to work together well enough to loosen any of them, as X took one last arrow, snapped it within her palm, and grabbed the front end like an improvised knife before starting to walk towards her newest unwilling victim. Glaring at her with killing intent, the demon howled with a force that caused the others watching to brace themselves, but X merely roared right back, her voice raising to a fevered pitch as she dashed forward, gaining speed at rapid pace before leaping off the ground and hurling herself toward it with her entire weight. The very moment that the arrow's tip met the creature's throat, a cloud of dark light exploded alongside the wall of the cage as both shattered apart from the force of the impact. Neither one of them could be seen at first in the thick sea of fragments that littered the air like a choking miasma. But suddenly, a familiar shape began to erupt from the smoky haze. The young assassin, now clad in her original hunter's armor, continued sailing through to the ground nearby the outside of the cage, her lunging pose unchanged until the moment her feet braced against the earth and halted her movement over fractions of a second. The white of her hair was nowhere to be seen. In its place, a set of resolute blue bangs fell forward to briefly mask her face. And as the last of the fragments collapsed behind her, a few lighter pieces settled against the elegant bow holding the base of her ponytail, its red fabric a memory of the blood-soaked uniform that had at last disappeared along with the rest of her unwanted curse. Selene waited with tepid wariness before at last dropping his focus on the broken cage, collapsing weakly against his staff as the rest of the guild rushed over to check on him. "That was a hell of a show, darling," Marnie praised, as Dell and Roland checked him over for any physical or magical injuries respectively. Flo, meanwhile, called out to their comrade as the dust finally began to settle in the cave once more. "X, are you okay?"
It's not X. Not anymore.
Came the reply, the girl smiling to herself in a moment of quiet, relieved peace. She could feel within her very core that the internal battle was finally over. Then, with a furrowed brow, mixed with both confidence and determination, she looked back to the rest of the guild and added,
It's Caliba.
and that's the first cutscene. Oh my god! Holy shit! I could not have asked for the music to be better timed. Like, oh.
That's why we practiced, baby!
That's why we practiced. All right. For basically the entire battle portion, I had chat minimized, so I need to go back and read this at this
I
point.
took screenshots.
Oh my god, faster,
Oh my
faster,
God.
that's some excellent time. You fucking killed it, Kate. That was
Thank
so
you.
good.
Amazing.
It wasn't to the end. It was to the
drop, no, to the
midpoint.
drop, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that was the one F-bomb. The one F-bomb of the entire game, and from the moment I wrote it, I went, Kate, I know when this has to happen. Holy shit.
I am
Oh my
so
God.
thank you for helping with the timing on that and allowing me to hit that when I needed to hit that.
Oh my fucking god. Vin saying when faith is your pillar, let him have it. Okay, that was probably before the actual fight. Dude, I knew the moment, like, it was that classic things get worse before they get better, but when that Faith is my pillar turnaround started, I couldn't see chat, but I was so eager to go back and see what they were saying.
Woo!
Vim, I know it's a different class, but rule of cool, okay? Rule of cool. I just want you dead. Hell yeah. Actually so based. Not to the beat. That's devious. Yes, Vim. I wrote this too. These were the post-battle and the final part of the battle were the only parts of these two cutscenes that are specifically timed to music. And it was so important that I got them to that tempo. Oh my god.
Thank you, chat. You're so sweet. We really did practice that, so I'm grateful that it paid off.
Okay. We are gonna take about like a 10-12 minute break until actually we'll come back at Happy E6, Bug.
Yeah!
Alright, y'all. We're taking a break for about 12 minutes. You timed yet to the job. Yes, you fucking devils. Kate, you were amazing. The music swell at the end was peak. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. And this is before we're gonna cry. Alright! Alright! I made you all jump in your chairs with energy. And when we come back, I'm gonna make you fucking sob. So get your water, get your tissues, get your bio break in, and we're gonna be back in about 12 minutes. See you soon. Oh my god. Be right back, Jen. I gotta... This has truly been an ETRIAN Odyssey 4. Legends of the Titan.
Stop.
You said it, Flo.
And then he just explodes. Oh. Vim. Oh, I'm so happy. Kate, thank you. You killed it, Kate.
Thank
You
you.
did so fucking good.
Thank you. I like screaming and fighting demons.
Y'all, it physically pains me that I couldn't get art commissions done for Caliba's scene. So I beg you, if there's a moment from stream that just sits in your head and plays over and over again, I would love to see it depicted. No obligation, but that is my gift to you, is hopefully ruining this game so that if you play it, you will always be thinking about this.
Oh, look at her new portrait, too.
I know.
Oh yeah, and the other Teleco. That bitch stood up.
I know. All right, so I had closed. Did it bring the stream back up for you, or did it close stream, right?
Let me check.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's closed.
Okay. I am gonna hide the script real quick while I open up some music files. Okay. And that should allow me to feed the stream again. You able to see that?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I believe that is all the music for the next cutscene. I don't even get to fully relax after this stream because I have to immediately pack for my trip tomorrow.
Oh my god.
And I need to bring out the Bissell and do some deep cleaning tonight.
I'm gonna get the pobs.
Yep.
I, on the other hand, I'm gonna go the fuck to sleep.
You're gonna be emotionally overwhelmed.
I probably.
Oh, boja.
Hi, color.
I have toast with creme cheese and duck pastrami and pepper smoked cheese. I'm living good, man.
And you didn't share with me?
It may take 39 to 50 business days for your cream cheese and duck pastrami to get over.
The package you just sent me got here super fast.
Doki, X is now Caliba, and she looks like this on the left side. So... it is one of the sniper portraits.
Ooh. Isn't Dell technically a sniper subclass?
Mechanically, I made him one because it made it easier to grind the levels out, but he is not going to be that way in terms of lore.
I know. I just think it's funny that, like, I'm just imagining him, like, fumbling a gun out of his pocket.
This takes, like, you know when they have, like, the smallest calculator in the world? It's just a tiny little crossbow?
Yeah!
VA is short for very busy. Ah, Sue figured it out!
You got it. You got it.
I have had that name since the fucking beginning of working on this. I have had that name pun ready since the fucking start.
I was hoping people would just, like, how long do I have to sit on it to just keep on saying the names over and over again?
Oh, I have, and I did get away with it already. And I'll get away with it again.
Away with this.
I'm gonna keep getting away with it. You don't even know. You're gonna get so pissed. I mean it. You are gonna get fucking furious with me. He's about to get away with it again. Tony's final trick. Trick's so sick, they're gonna put it in the next Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I wish Kibagami would grab me. Put his sword in my stone.
Oh my god.
I'm out. Sonic Mega 100.
Wait, what?
Wait, what? Huh? Hey?
All right, y'all. 90-second warning.
That's not true. You said 621.
I know, 90-second warning. Now it's 90-second warning.
Fucking lying live on the internet.
No, that's a tiger.
No, it's a bushy. It's a nice bushy man.
Color.
Yeah.
Yes, Emmy?
He can have access to my bushi.
I'm gonna kill you, Color.
All right, y'all. It's time to wind down this music.
I think you're saying wind down for the night. I was like, no,
Right.
it's fucking not.
God.
One more, Kate. One more.
He has a bushy tail.
All right.
Make sure I've got my stuff up. Again, chat, please be patient with me because now not only am I managing with narration and music timing and everything else, but also artwork that needs to show up at the right time. So, okay.
You got this. And Color, you got this. Goily, who's got the first line?
I got the voice line. We good.
All right. We will begin after I narrate the title of the scene. So.
Okay.
Excuse me. Happy E6, Bug.
Happy next.
Here we go. The Beast Within.
I can take over for you. Just don't expect me to keep with the wee ones knackered with grandiose stories of adventure warm at it.
Adelaide's voice spoke her stern but understanding acceptance as she traded posts with Teleko, who bowed in appreciation. Although the villagers were still far better off having someone to act as a first line of defense in a worst-case scenario, the looming demand of Flo's own ritual meant that the feline had to take a more active role this time around.
It's not on screen, the script.
Oh, thank you very much.
Think of him.
Boop.
No, log. Somebody.
Thank you very much. Got too excited.
Appreciate it, Adelaide. I feel a lot better knowing you're looking after them.
He looked over to the members of Guild Catalyst, who were making their own preparations on the other end of the cavern, before looking back to her with a gentle smile.
Hopefully, it won't be too long before I'm back to take them off your hands.
Elsewhere nearby, Flo was finally getting a better look at his teammate's new appearance. What surprised him even more, however, was the fact that she had a level of energy that belied the strain she'd put herself through not much earlier.
Hey, so, that was a lot. You doing okay?
I'm fine.
She replied matter-of-factly.
Well, yeah, I can see that much. You seem more than fine, to be honest, given everything that just happened.
You're not feeling any, weirdness in your new body, or...
You forget, this is what I always used to look like.
She reminded him.
At least, before the whole curse thing happened. If anything, I feel more invigorated than before.
That's right. You mentioned you had a different name, too, Flo suddenly recalled. Caliba, was it?
That's me.
She confirmed, before suddenly giving a low chuckle to herself.
Huh. Maybe I'm a little surprised after all. Didn't think it would feel that good to hear someone else say my name again.
New face, new name. Well, new to me, at least. But it's definitely still you in there. I can say that much for sure. Flo looked across the room towards the village, catching sight of Teleko, and of the orbs sitting some distance in between the two of them. Teleko said the seal of mine was keeping a lot held back, but as far as I can remember, I've always been called Flo. So unless this thing is somehow locking away even memories of mine, either way, I guess we'll find out pretty soon.
Speaking of which, are you sure you want to do this so soon?
She asked him with genuine concern.
I mean, that whole ordeal was pretty damn intense. Who knows what your own is gonna be like?
Hey, no time like the present, right? Besides, it looks like whatever you did to activate those crystals is still sticking around. Flo gestured to the pile of elemental orbs nearby. True to his words, their illuminating glow somehow still persisted after the grand display that had happened only a short while ago. So either they're still raring to go, or someone attuned to them needs to actually calm them down before they wreak some real havoc. And while you were resting up, Teleko filled me in on what I need to do for this on my own end, so for better for worse, now is the time.
Well then.
Caliba sighed, shooting him a conceding but unconvinced glance.
Whatever happens, you better make it look damn cool. Otherwise, I might have a case to make for taking your spot as the guild leader.
Survival first, style second, he fired back. But, yeah, I hope it looks pretty cool too. A short while later, the group had gathered once more in the center of the cavern, now with the Bushi mentor temporarily added to their ranks. You sure about this attunement thing, Teleko? Flo asked out of both caution and curiosity. I feel like I'd have known about the dragons a lot sooner if I was supposed to have this major connection to them somehow.
Believe it or not, the Ocelot responded, even forces as big as the dragons themselves know to respect powers that rival their own. For all their strength, many see them as keepers of balance, a means of preventing anyone or anything from disrupting the natural order, whether intentionally or not. Through your efforts, you've proven that you mastered control of the elements they represent. And so, they're waiting for you.
Waiting for me? Flo asked. To do what?
To give them permission to strike.
You mean the seal? Flo concluded quickly. They won't destroy it unless I instruct them to. In that case, looking over once more to the trio of colored spheres shimmering gently nearby, Flo collected his thoughts in a deep breath, his nerves settling through the exhale that gave his muscles a cherished moment to loosen themselves. I think it's time we put an end to this.
I can assist if need be.
Selene chimed in from nearby, gesturing to the staff in his hands.
Despite the exhaustion of earlier, I can still sense a similar aura coming from the crystals. It should be easy enough to amplify or manipulate it again.
Flo shook his head. I appreciate it, but I actually think you can hold off on that for now. His eyes narrowed in focus as the two continued their stare at the crystals holding their attention. The thing is, I can sense something else too. Like there's a stirring desire that matches my own, and it's making both of them feel stronger as a result.
Maybe so, but I do still sense that malice from before,
Selene continued in his own caution. Don't worry, I believe you, but I don't think it's towards me this time. It's like we're both looking at the same opponent, the same anger. I think Teleko's right. They want to help.
If you're sure,
Selene relented, nodding in approval to his fellow adventurer.
Then I trust your instincts on this, guild leader.
Knock 'em dead, champ! Marnie suddenly goaded, with Del and Roland adding their own gestures of support in kind. For the first time since Caliba's own trial, Flo smiled back at them as he audibly exhaled once more. Better it than me! Da-da. Where is Caliba? There we go. And there we go. Giving a wide berth between himself and the rest of the party, Flo proceeded to position himself a fair distance opposite the dragon crystals on the other end of the cavern floor. This distance, however, didn't appear to impact the glow emanating from the crystals as it had before. The trigger, it seemed, was simply whether his focus was directed at them. It was no wonder, then, that they began to glisten with even more colorful brilliance as he stared them down from across the cavern, to the point that it almost seemed like they had begun to hum as he raised an outstretched hand in their direction.
The dragons command respect and reward confidence,
Teleko's voice cautioned to Flo from nearby.
You'll need to stay focused on your goal from start to finish. Make sure you're ready.
The Lansknecht's head remained fixed in place, but his response acknowledged that the wise mentor had been heard. I've been ready my whole damn life. Then, with that open hand seemingly beckoning the elemental orbs, Flo proceeded to officially call out, "To me." Suddenly, a trio of colors radiating from the orbs began to glow more and more intensely, leading the others to think they were only moments away from washing the entire cavern out with their brightness. It was then, however, that they noticed the source of the sudden brightness, a mass of colored particles rising from their respective orbs that floated up briefly before starting to drift in the direction of the waiting Landsknecht. The wafting clouds of red, blue, and yellow lights, uniform in their movements, seemed to slowly narrow their flight path as they started to converge on each other along the way. But as they approached the final stretch of distance, they were suddenly halted, then pulled back towards the crystals they first dissipated from, their speed now increasing the further along they got towards that new meeting point. The members of Guild Catalyst watched as the particles, now rushing in reverse back to their power source, converged into a single point within the crystals as a white light abruptly and quickly grew from within it. Flo, meanwhile, kept his outstretched hand held firm as it prepared to catch whatever was about to shoot forth from that condensed font of power. But when the combined beam, a swirling mass of the three elements weaving throughout each other, at last erupted forth, it didn't go straight towards Flo at all. Rather, it seemed to fire in an upwards angle, one that would sooner crash against the ceiling of the cave than its intended target. It wasn't until the beam was abruptly halted, 3/4 of the way along its journey in Flo's direction, that the form of its true target finally began to take shape, prompting a mystified Roland to gasp, "What on earth is that?" As if drawn from a different plane of existence, the sight appeared all at once and in the span of mere moments. A large sphere of formless energy took shape before their very eyes, its intangible border radiating out from the point at which it met the dragon crystal's beam and spreading to eventually surround Flo from a sizable distance all around him. Actually, Log, it's confirmed that this does take place on Earth. The mauve hue of the barrier, a dark, sharp contrast to the bright beam crashing against it, seemed to care not at all for the powerful force trying in vain to penetrate it. Like a flame to a solid rock wall, the dragon crystal's combined power effortlessly bounced off and around the sphere's border, curling against its rounded edge as Flo looked on in surprise. "What the hell?" he said to himself. His eyes remained focused on the sight in front of him, even as his tone changed to address his mentor nearby. "Teleko, Has this been here the whole time?
Since the moment the seal was placed, yes, the Bushi confirmed. But it was only meant to protect you, not to harm anyone else. So, as part of being a silent protection, it had no reason to show itself, unless that protection was being threatened. All of this is by design so far.
Feels like an awful lot to go through, if you ask me, Flo admitted. And you said you took part in making this?
When it came to the Titan's curse, your mother wouldn't accept any risk whatsoever. You've seen what it did to the villagers and the prince already.
Teleko's face betrayed his tone, though, and the latter came to match the former as he looked on at the ongoing clash.
However, what isn't happening as expected is this stalemate. I didn't expect it to be instantaneous. The combined forces of the elements should have at least started to break apart the seal's barrier by now.
Are you saying the dragon crystals aren't enough?
Caliba asked with heightened wariness.
There's no reason they shouldn't be, Teleko replied. The seal was only put in place by the two of us. So against a force like this, there shouldn't...
At that moment, Teleko's words were cut off by a sudden, violent burst of energy from the seal's barrier, the force of which knocked him off his balance as it pulsed furiously from the point of contact at the beam and seared along its length all the way back to its source. Crashing against the elemental spheres, a secondary pulse erupted in kind from them from the impact, causing the nearby members of Guild Catalyst to brace themselves as well.
Was that from the seal?
A startled Dell questioned half aloud.
I thought Teleko said it was only supposed to be a defensive measure.
Perhaps it is defending, Roland surmised, by fighting back against something it feels threatened by.
Another sudden pulse erupted from the seal, expanding the range of its border ever so slightly as the wave once again rocked the cavern at both the start and end of its brief journey through the beam of light and into the cluster of crystals, who visibly jostled this time from the force of the blow. Selene, where is he, damn it? Selene, catching sight of this, rushed over wordlessly to them. Staff clasped in hand, he jammed it into the earth just behind them, summoning a circle beneath the trio as he began to funnel his arcane influence into their existing power. At once, the white beam seemed to surge with renewed energy. Giga, please do not spoil shit. I'm being dead serious right now. Can I have someone delete that? Thank you. At once, the white beam seemed to surge with renewed energy, widening as it fired its own pulse out and rocketed it along the length of the ray and into the contact point against the seal.
If it was placed in part by his mother, then maybe it's not just about keeping him safe,
Marnie suddenly added, her eyes focused more on the sphere surrounding Flo than on the crystals opposite him. No loving parent would wait until a threat to their child was dangerous enough before deciding to snuff it out in advance.
Look, something else is there.
Caliba alerted the others, pointing to the broader surface of the swirling purple mass now taking up a significant portion of one of the cavern's exits. As the bright burst of light shoved against the seal in response to its defiance and spread across its circumference like a shockwave along the earth, another portion of the barrier came into view, shaken loose from its illusion by the force. Surrounding the sphere appeared to be a series of black chains shooting out in 6 different directions from a central point and wrapping around the back side of the mass, before meeting back together on the opposite corner from where they had begun. It was now clear, to them at least, how such a massive miasma seemed to be held in place as it continued thrashing within itself between the violent pulses.
I get it now. Stubborn to the very end,
Teleko grunted as he collected himself from the ground nearby, beginning to make his way towards an outcropping of rock nearer to the outer edge of the seal's oppressive force field.
Even after all this time, I have no doubt it's still you.
As Selene's intense focus allowed the dragon crystals to continue their renewed assault against the seal, The members of Guild Catalyst watched as opposing waves of light and dark slammed into each other over and over again. On one end, the dragon crystals huddled in place, rattling against each other as the Arcanist's body seemed to take on at least some part of the impacts they felt, one after the next. On the other, the smooth surface of the seal's barrier began to glow a fiery red in the sections that the chains clasped against, as though their effort to hold fast resulted in friction burns along the miasma. But perhaps the most striking new visual detail, in addition to the black of those chains, which seemed to absorb what little of the white light from the beam managed to reach them, was the snake-like vines that coursed throughout them along their entire length, dotted by sporadic pink flowers that nonetheless blossomed brilliantly amidst the chaos. Their resplendent color felt out of place against the harsh palette, lashing out against everything around it. But to Flo, it immediately reminded him of the beautiful, horrifying flora that littered the prince's body as it first began to overtake him. The Titan's curse. "You have to let the boy go, Naxala!" Teleko, now standing along the edge of the rock outcropping, cried out towards the ephemeral cage. "This isn't what you wanted! You placed the seal so he could live free of the Titan's curse, not bind him against it!" "Wait," Flo suddenly responded, glancing up in front of him at the writhing mass of chain links and ivy that pulsed against themselves with the anger of both fauna and forest. "Is this... Mom? The seal is Mom?" Looking towards the spherical prison, the other members of Guild Catalyst realized what the chain links had been held together by. There, in the center of it, sitting just in front of Flo, the separate chains met at a connecting lock made of pure condensed energy in the shape of a wolf head. With each defiant rejection of the energy that the dragon crystals fired at it, the recessed eye sockets of the locked seemed to glow with spiteful pride, fading away just as quickly as the plant-covered chains tightened their slack and reaffirmed their hold on the captive leader. Meanwhile, the dawning realization of the seal's source had left Flo in a state of desperate confusion. "Oh, hold on. This isn't what I prepared for. This isn't how this was supposed to go. She's been here all along. Your mother swore to use every ounce of her strength to protect you once the seal was placed. There was no one else she trusted to do the job. Not even me," Teleko replied, his strained voice barely keeping above the howl-like groans of the dark energy humming throughout the living force field. "For over 10 years, the curse has tried in vain to get to you, with that seal taking every bit of its increasing fury. I watched it take her, Flo. All that's left behind is her refusal, her sheer willpower against letting it harm you." "I need more time, Teleko!" Flo cried. "I've gone my whole life never knowing her. What she looked like, what she sounded like. I can't say goodbye so soon all over again." The light within the sphere surrounding him suddenly pulsed in response to his words, the sight of which concerned Teleko immensely. "This is your only chance at the freedom you wanted, Flo. The stones are already in a weakened state. The dragons will need eons to reclaim their full power once more. If you want the strength that she left for you, you have to reach out and claim it for yourself." "I don't want to," Flo refused, tears streaming from his eyes. I'm not ready." Here we go. Suddenly, the illumination within the cavern dimmed ominously. Scattered bits of light spreading apart in panic before being snuffed out by the growing sense of darkness emanating from the seal surrounding Flo. The shaking of his body reflected in the shaking of the chains that rattled their echoes against the cavern walls, loosing small white particles from the ivy-like plants that snaked along each link. The magical pollen began to collect against the Landsknecht. In rapid succession, his cries becoming muffled, then silenced entirely as he became wrapped within a soft, unyielding cocoon. The force field tightened once more, daring any who looked upon it to try and breach its defenses, to subject themselves to the renewed fury of a mother cornered with her child. Noxala, Teleko remarked in concern to himself, looking directly at the wolf-shaped lock. Even Flo's tears reflected in the formless particles of light that could be seen falling from the empty sockets that cast their gaze downwards toward the ground. You aren't ready to say goodbye either, are you? Flo, no! Dell's voice suddenly called out, catching his attention. He turned his head to meet the young medic's gaze. Teleko, what is that? Is it the Titan's curse? Well over a decade of it. Kept away from him until now because of the seal, Teleko confirmed with grim seriousness. What you're seeing is all of it suddenly coalescing into a single place.
No.
Caliba said, looking upon the mass of white pollen now fully hiding Flo from their view.
Does that mean it got to him?
It's trying, but it looks like she's forcefully repurposed it all into a sort of shield,
he replied, not at all sounding relieved in his explanation as he continued.
As long as it holds together, he remains safe, both from it as well as anything else outside. But if at any point her hold weakens, it will all consume him immediately.
And until then? Dell asked. Teleko's expression darkened.
He's trapped in an eternal prison of her making.
He turned to glance at the dragon crystals, his breath catching itself momentarily as he noticed yet another cause for worry. The force of the most recent reflected attempt had left a crack in one of the orbs, which had since begun to slowly spread with each new rumble that shook the cavern.
Listen up, all of you, he directed to the guild. We're running out of time. The crystals are losing their stability without the dragons there to empower them, and there isn't enough left in them to overpower the seal on their own. If they fail, there won't be any hope of them having enough for another attempt.
Is there any way of reinforcing them? Marnie asked aloud, her attention flitting between the chaotic mass of energy and the Bushi bracing himself against it all.
The crystals themselves are reservoirs of power condensed into a small space. They're capable of both transferring that power out to others, as well as drawing it back from the one who wields it.
So we could feed our own strength back into it the way it was given to us, Roland added, quickly connecting the dots. But wouldn't that mean that we'd lose the power we've gained?
Or worse, there's no telling what effect it could have. It could cost you everything, even your very lives,
Teleko admitted.
But whatever your decision, you have to make it now, before the seal fully repels the energy trying to weaken it.
Then, god damn it, I'm not gonna wait around to figure out if it's worth the risk.
An invigorated Caliba broke apart from the group, rushing over to the crystals as she placed a hand against them and called out to the others.
Flo didn't hesitate before potentially sacrificing his chance at freedom in order to help me. Now help me help him!
She immediately turned toward a familiar arcanist, calling out to him in a voice devoid of any sort of leniency.
Solane?
I'm also checking something out here. Okay, cool. Oh wait, sorry, I have to move something. Okay, cool. Okay. The arcanist, already halfway moved to doing his part as it was, needed no further convincing. With a minimal movement on his staff, he directed his focus towards her instead, amplifying her intent, as well as his own, into a tangible but controlled transfer of energy that began to drain their accumulated power as it funneled into the crystals in front of her. Caliba grunted in discomfort, looking over in the direction of a certain protective hybrid dancer as she powered through the sensation running through her body.
Marnie?
She pleaded, her voice firm with resolution about a request she knew wouldn't be rejected. Indeed, Marnie took only a moment before nodding in agreement and making her way over to assist. Dell followed shortly thereafter, and soon all four of them, empowered by Solane's arcane circle, were feeding what they could into the miasmic force that continued to assault the powerful shield that held Flo's body prisoner. It was Roland who, as he himself neared the small group of elemental ores, thought to look back over at Teleko and saw the same concern worn across his face as before. Although the renewed magical power seemed to be making progress, the Ocelot appeared to know something the rest of them didn't. And as he turned to catch sight of Roland in turn, the look in the Ocelot's eyes told Roland that there was still one final push that they needed. The one that only he could make happen. Teleko nodded in grateful appreciation to Roland, who, after a deep breath, nodded in his own acceptance. And as Roland placed a hand against the crystals to further empower them, his other hand raised aloft to make its own gestures. And Teleko, who up until now had seemed so stiff in his posture, at last began to collapse in genuine peace as his body evaporated into balls of magic. Their light, tinted yellow like his fur, gave off a soft illumination as his form became a massless collection of essence, which then began to drift toward Roland. I thank you, old man, the Rune Master whispered to the group of golden spheres that now formed a casing around his free hand. I hope someday he forgives you for this. Removing his other hand from the crystals the rest were huddled and gasping against, Roland used the last of his waning power to focus his full attention on channeling the warm light that danced along his palms. In one beautiful motion, he smoothed the light into a single sheet, thinned it into a laser-like spire, and with a forceful thrust of his arm, fired the collected essence straight towards the center of the swirling mass of energy before them. The condensed laser of light drowned the area in a split second of blinding brightness, casting shadows against the backside of every corner of the cave. And where the dragon crystals had failed, Teleko's parting gift did not. It pierced effortlessly through the lupine lock, before continuing past it to the white vessel waiting just beyond. At the moment the focused beam of golden spheres made contact with Flo, the formless black cage that surrounded his cocoon at last lost all structure and stability. Spheres of abyssal darkness, repulsed by their contrasting siblings, violently exploded outwards in all directions, yanked back before they could escape by some unknown force. Together, both light and dark twisted in writhing swirls around the Lance-Connect's body, like fireflies in desperate search of a lamp that had just gone out, until at last they began to separate into two distinct shapes. On one side, the golden spheres coalesced into the shape of an ocelot head. On the other, black orbs drew together to form the proud visage of a wolf and its equally dark mane. The two halves lingered but for a moment, before both tilted back and roared toward the sky above, fading away until the last of their celestial breath drained the color from both sets of spheres and turned them all to white. As the remnants began to scatter over and across the massless vessel containing Flo, the humming cocoon started to shimmer with a softer, twinkling glow. The cocoon had become a chrysalis, and another grand change began to take place. The exhausted members of Guild Catalyst could only look on as what appeared to be a patch of Flo's purple hair sprung forth from the top of the glowing oval. It continued to grow, however, stretching out and down the length of the magical chrysalis until the entire surface area resembled a fur-covered egg. That same egg then began to shrink, rapidly decreasing in size until contours of the body within began to poke out once more where they previously had been engulfed in light. But there was something different about it now. Previously pointed corners of armor now appeared soft. The features as a whole now appearing more muscular, in silhouette. And as the last of the white orbs of light receded into it, they settled against the fresh mane that fell down to either side of a furred snout. Painting it the same shade as themselves as they joined the rest of the creature in gently falling to the ground below. Although the body before them didn't remotely resemble the man they once knew, there wasn't a shred of doubt in the party's hearts. This was Flo, the same as he ever was, in the form he was always meant to be. As the reborn Bushi's eyes slowly began to open, his voice, carrying all the same tonality but with a textured baritone, at last spoke once more. "Mom, don't go. I miss you." The sound of his own voice gave him pause, and it was then that he noticed the strong, furred hand he was using to brace himself against the ground. "Wait, am I?" he questioned, flexing his clawed fingers as they carved small grooves into the earth. He understood almost immediately what this must have meant. This is how I was supposed to be, huh? In that same moment, he realized, all the din from before was gone. The sight of the seal and the roaring in the cave had become a stirring silence. He sprang to his feet with surprising force, although he nearly stumbled from the lack of familiarity with his new center of gravity, in a mixture of worry and wariness. "Wait, where's Teleko?" Scouring the immediate area for the mammalian mentor, he was frustrated to have no clear sight of the ocelot. "Where's Teleko?" he inquired again, passing his gaze past each of the members of Catalyst as he continued searching for his superior. He locked eyes with Roland, who solemnly glanced in the direction where Teleko once had stood, and followed his gaze in turn to the same spot. There, only dust and empty air now sat, a hollow point within the cave that now felt separated from all space and time. "Teleko. Mom. No." All the initial burst of energy drained instantaneously from Flo as the realization dawned on him. Even though he hadn't witnessed it himself, there was an indescribable feeling in his chest that told him the truth. The pained silence from the rest of his group only served to further confirm it. "After all this, you can't just..."
Teleko's natural life force had long since passed by the time your group first arrived here.
A husky voice spoke out from nearby. One of the Bushi elders, a kind and calm woman in the body of a well-aged vixen, made her presence known as she approached the newly revealed kin of her kind.
It was his promise to Noxala, your mother, that kept him tethered to this world beyond all reason. He swore to her that he would honor her dying wish, and it was that love for you, from both of them, that let him see it through to the end.
Flo was silent at first, but his voice spoke up once again after careful thought, even gentler than before. "Teleko said the curse was all that remained on the seal, but that's not the truth, is it?"
From the moment you first arrived here all those years ago, she'd never left you. She'd have never forgiven herself if she missed even a moment of the beautiful life she'd created with your father. And so your youth, your training, and the choices you made that brought you here.
"She's been watching all of it," Flo finished. He thought once more, looking across himself at his furred limbs, before looking back at the elder. "She knew, didn't she, that he'd wait until I came back, however long it took. She waited for him because he was the only way the seal would break."
Oh, not so, my child.
She replied, shaking her head in disagreement.
She knew she'd never have the willingness to separate herself from you. She hated the very idea that one day she'd have to leave you for good. But she also knew that Teleko was the only one who would stand up to her and force her to commit to the promise she made for you, regardless of how she felt, or what it meant for her. He loved you every bit as much as she did, a feat she thought impossible, and that's exactly why she chose to place her trust in him.
The Volpine Elder bowed her head as she continued.
Those of us who knew her in life remember her tenacity and her strength. There was nothing and no one who could stop her from doing whatever was necessary to protect what mattered most to her.
She slowly came up to Flo, resting a frail hand on his shoulder.
You, Flo, are every bit as resilient as she is. And I know she would not have allowed herself to leave you if she didn't think you were ready.
Flo closed his eyes, deep in thought as he reflected on the Elder's words. He thought back to his brief time in the cocoon, to the moment when his world of pure black was suddenly pierced with a bright golden light. He remembered that in that moment, he saw his mentor approaching him, carrying what felt like fragments of the chains that had made up the seal that binded him. It was then he realized what they had been. Memories. In the span of an instant, as the seal collapsed around him, his mind had flooded with all the things his mother had seen through her own eyes. The first time she held him in her arms, the way he rejected some foods but nearly howled in happiness at the taste of others. The warmth of her fur as she nuzzled him to sleep and dared the cold of their cavern home to take her warmth away from him. The anguished howl that echoed through the cavern walls as his form was sealed away. His human appearance meant to help him be accepted somewhere far away. A safer place, if only for a while. Every part of her that loved him made up the parts of the seal that kept him close, kept him safe. And now it was all a part of him as well. And as they attached themselves to him, Teleko granted him one final gift, a memory from the ocelot's own eyes. The sight of his mother's face, her proud black mane distracted only by the light of her eyes as she looked at Flo. Both the baby she held in her arms, and now the proud young man whose world slowly began to come back into view as he opened his eyes back up once more. "Not so, Elder," he lovingly chided, placing his hand over hers as he nuzzled into it in much the same way he recalled from those fresh memories. "She didn't leave, and neither did Teleko. They're still right here, inside me." He turned to face his guild, relieved, but not at all surprised, to find them looking back at him with not a hint of worry on their faces. "They're still watching me, even now. And not just me, but all of you as well. And we owe it to them to see to it that all their hard work is rewarded. I promised Teleko that I'd use this power to protect the people important to me. That doesn't mean I have to do it alone." He smiled, a wide, toothy grin that displayed a proud set of fangs hungry for one last adventure, and spread his arms wide to goad them all into a warm embrace. The members of Guild Catalyst, at last broken from their hushed spell by his invitation, rushed forward to greet him once again, their cheers and cries bouncing throughout the cave like the roar of a wolf pack reunited after a long winter apart. When at last their group hugs separated, Flo took his sword in hand, pointing it past the Elder and through the village to the exit on the other side, and spoke to them as the leader they had all come to know and love. "Now, let's go fulfill that promise." as the others began to round up their supplies and prepare their goodbyes to the rest of the Sentinel village. Flo took the opportunity to steal away from the rest of the group. Da-da-da. Gotta do a bit of clicking here. And make his way over to Caliba, who was similarly busy preparing her own newfound ammo. As she caught sight of him, she flashed a smile, setting aside her repurposed assassin's knife, along with the bundle of freshly whittled arrows she was nearly done crafting as he approached.
You know,
She teased with a modicum of feigned appreciation.
I didn't mind how you looked before, but I have to admit, this is definitely a good fit for you.
You're not afraid of how I look now? Flo asked somewhat sheepishly.
You're not the only one who went through a full body makeover in the last 24 hours, so I hardly have any room to complain.
She sighed as she looked down at her offensive works in progress.
Not to mention, it feels like I'm starting all over with reacquainting myself with my own skills.
Me too. I'm sure everything will come back to me in time, but getting used to all the movements in a different body has taken some getting used to. He glanced at his somewhat muscular frame, a thought occurring in his mind as he looked to her again. By the way, when I first felt the seal beginning to weaken again, before the others joined in, I could sense someone's presence in particular. That was you, wasn't it? Caliba didn't respond, other than to look in his direction and smirk. You didn't have to do that, you know, he chided. It could have killed you. Could you imagine finally getting your old self back, only to lose it all on something that might not have even worked?
I know.
She said, flashing him a sly glance that carried genuine affection behind it.
But I still had to try, just to see if it was possible.
Glad to see not much has changed about you either, Caliba.
Oi!
Came Adelaide's voice suddenly from a small distance away.
Gin you're done with your hurkle-durkle, then get your things and get to training. This old bird still got second retirement to earn, and ye all looking like a batch of fresh recruits right about now.
You heard the lady, Flo said with a sigh, before finally beginning to collect his own belongings. In any case, we have a long road ahead of us, but a clear destination. We should head out as soon as we're ready.
We sure should.
Caliba agreed.
I'll see you on the battlefield, Beast Boy. And don't think you can slack off on your training either. Now that I'm not hunting for 2 anymore, all the bonus experience is going straight to me.
As your guild leader, I command that you share it with the others too.
Oh, command, huh? Do I look like a couple of dragon crystals to you? Pfft, not a chance, guild leader. You'll have to twist my arm if you're gonna talk like that while asking me to give up those goods.
And how about this instead? He mused, extending his furred hand for her to grab as he helped her to her feet. And together, the two of them began to head back to the group waiting just ahead. Dragons, elements, and even the labyrinth's floors. Many things in this world worked in sets of 3s. And with 2 powerful curses broken at last, time had come to put one final powerful curse to rest. Once and for all. Holy fuck!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Beagle crabbies.
And so I present to you the squad going into the final stretch of this game. We have Roland, the Rune Master with new purpose. Selene, the reanimated vessel who's found a purpose to fight for. Marnie, the dancer far away from town who's found a family far stronger than she could have ever imagined. Adelaide, the badass bitch. Not him! Get out of here, Flo! You don't exist anymore!
Wrong flow.
Now there's better Flo! Where's Caliva? Yes, Caliva! The mercenary huntress who has at last claimed her identity back. Del, the curious medic and researcher who has learned so much in all the adventures he's gone since arriving here. And our newest arrival, the true form of Flo, the Landsknecht human who in secret was actually a member of the Bushi all this time. And in keeping with the logic, as you might have noticed, they obviously had to funnel an awful lot of their power into those dragon crystals in order to make this possible. So how that translates is that we go to the Explorers Guild and they fed a lot of their power into it, meaning they are now back to level 30, but thinking of all the experience that they had gained, their maximum potential is now even higher than before. Once they get back up to 99, they will find that not only are their base stats higher than they could have been before, but they will also have extra skill points to spend on boosting their skills as well. I had been holding on to this the entire time because the Bushi class is pretty good as a subclass, but not so much as a main class. So when I was going through and editing all of this, I got help from the person who helped me modify this in order to modify one last portrait from the Landsknecht class, so that even though he looks different, he doesn't play different. And we will proceed to do the same with everybody else.
Woo!
Yay! Did you just name him Mel?
Yeah.
Oh, did I accidentally do that?
Yeah, you made me know.
This is all right. This is fine. No, we can fix this. We can fix this. Does it let you? I think it lets you rename. I hope it lets you rename. We're gonna find out in a second. Hey,
Otherwise,
listen.
we're restarting.
Listen. He's gender androgynous. Okay, so. Okay, thank God. Here we go.
Ah, raindrop.
Oh, wait, sorry. There, is that better?
You're not sharing, so everything's
Oh,
on a delay.
That's right. Let me change the screen. There you go. So
Perfect.
here's the other drop. Here's the other drop. Teleko was based on an ocelot. What is Flo's mother's name?
I wasn't paying attention. Can you do the cutscene again?
What is Teleko exactly? A problem?
He's dead is what he is. He's fucking dead.
Not Nosaka, Noxala, yes. What is that backwards? And what is that a type of? Oh yeah? This is the one that's gonna piss everyone off.
Earlier, you can't keep getting away with this.
From the very fucking beginning, you all. That's right, Denix. That's right. Okay.
Ah, steal.
Vim knows your ways.
Yeah, when do we get ILR Tsua?
What is that? When do we get what?
ILR Tsua.
Would it be a kangaroo, a dingo,
Oh.
an emu?
Yeah, but it's hard to implement it so their name and like stats are upside down.
Oh my god.
God damn it.
We're not retiring Kibagami. I'm just looking at him.
Same.
Yeah.
Studded leather.
He's a stud, all right.
And his wife.
No, Kibagami's mine.
Right. All right. I believe that's... And Adelaide, like I said, she is not retired because she was technically already retired and came out of retirement. So she is the only member of the party who stays at 99 and is already at her maximum potential. I'm gonna check something real quick. Oh, or formation. What's up?
Color, your husband's funny.
Isn't he? When people are like, wow, you're funny, like, I have to fight for my funniness when I'm next to this man.
Oh, I have been waiting for this day to do this.
Oh, before we get too far off track, can we talk about the art?
Oh, yes. Can we talk about the art? Hold on. I'm going to put these side by side. Here we go. And then, so how long ago did I reach out to you both about this?
You actually gave us quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
This time around, I think it was like a month and a half?
Yeah, I think it was around a month and a half.
Yeah.
So I knew from the beginning that I wanted Color and Emmy to be a part of this, and you probably won't be surprised that this ultimate character climax scene for Flo was one of the first that I had a major portion written out for already. And it was those parts of the cutscene that I provided to them for reference. And just like everything else, it took us up until the night before, but these brave bastards got them to me and even made final tweaks, and oh my god. Look at this. Look, that's the only vision that we get of Flo's mother, and it's fucking incredible. I told Emmy from the beginning, I said, I want that feeling not of like a black wolf that's terrifying, but the one that you think you see in a mountain pass before you check again and it's just as quickly gone. And it was never out to get you, it was just making sure that no one was threatening its den. And you captured that sense of like, we can clearly see who she is, but we have no idea who she is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing all of these characters depicted in a way other than the official in-game art, and just seeing the smile on Del's face, the age in Adelaide's face, the beauty in Marnie. Oh my god, it's all so good. It's all so good. And on the other, go ahead.
No, I'm glad I could bring it to life. But
It's
yes,
that-
absolutely.
it's
On
that
the other hand, color is
Uh,
amazing.
All right.
I want to make the note that Emmy did such a fine job of making the similarities but differences between Flo and Noxala. The shape language is very similar but different. I'm like,
look, look at this shit. Color, send me the template again so I can show people the sample
yeah.
that I sent you. So this is an infamous inside joke, is that artists are often given such a small amount to work with. But there was a lot happening in this scene. So I'm going to show you all what I sent Color.
There you go.
There we go. Hold on. I need you to understand, I did all of this in MS Paint. All of it. Poor Color gets a DM from me, and she's like, all right, what's this reference that you have? What am I looking at here? And I went, here you go. I sent her this.
Yep. Yep.
That's why you're a voice actor.
I drew all of this by hand using a mouse in MS Paint.
It actually tells you a lot, but it's really funny when people look at him being like, so this is the draft, goes over to the piece of art, this is the final.
Literally, so let's text. It says, background cave can start to open up into a passageway the sphere is blocking, give the idea that it's preventing escape. Miasma has a spiky shield appearance, surrounds the outer sphere. Make sure that the seal looks like the major portion of the commission. Flow is here encased in an opaque cocoon, hovering above the ground, sandy, mossy cave floor environment. Here's the guild. Here's Caliba telling Jesus to take the wheel as she puts her... And I even made a point. I want to point this out. So I made a point of telling Color, I want there to be a representation of each of the elemental dragons, like, inscribed into the orb. And then my bitch ass told her, by the way, they're round, but they're also crystals. So make sure that you give me round, basketball-sized crystals. And I want you to look at what this bad-as-fuck bitch came up. Look at that. Look at that. It's fucking beautiful. It's every bit as I imagined it. It's so good. I'm gonna shrink this out and bring the image back in to just show other details one more time. Just all of these notes. And me drawing like these 3 lines to be like, this is me dividing the piece into like 3 acts. These are the 3 parts that the folks should focus on. And it was Color's idea to go, I'm gonna tilt the angle of what the viewer is looking at so that rather than them just standing on the ground as part of the scene, it gives that feeling like the sphere is drawing everything else around it into it. And we got this final result.
Composition, baby!
I want to give a huge shout out to both Emmy and Color, and I want to let you all know, I saw some of you saying, oh my god, I want this as a print. Well, good news. I did pay. I paid both of these fantastic artists for the licensing rights to reprint them in order to make prints. So if you were to come to me at a convention in the future, I am allowed to have a copy of it and sign it for you. But if you don't want to wait, Color Brews has it up on her print store right now. You can order it at exactly this moment. Emmy does not have a means for folks to purchase it online yet. However, if you are interested, I am willing to accept orders. I guess either, I believe it was that you send me payment. I take the shipping portion out of it because I need to ship it to you all. But I will, or I guess, I mean, Emmy, you're probably busy enough that you don't want to do the shipping yourself, right?
I mean, once I get back from camping in the holidays, my schedule's pretty open.
Are you open to being the one who receives the payment then?
Yeah, I would just have to set it up. Just
okay.
Give me a couple weeks.
Then you can contact Emmy and request to purchase the print. I would just say, since they were already paid, send anywhere between 10 and 40. 40 is what I normally charge for an autograph. 10 at least will cover the shipping. I'd say 10 to 20 minimum. But just so that we're not running Emmy ragged with shipping costs. Anyway. Yes. Whew. We did it. We did it. We did it.
I'm so proud of you. You wrote lots.
I wrote
a ton.
I wrote a lot. I guess I'll just open the floor if there's anything else that chat would like to say for the next 5, 6, 7 minutes, just to kind of unwind while I equip armor on everybody. And then we'll talk about what the last 2 episodes are going to be like. Unfortunately, we are not done with cutscenes yet. We're not done
What do
with...
you mean, unfortunately?
Why is
it
that unfortunate? Isn't that part of the whole stream?
It means I can't release the lore Bible so that you all can read through them at your leisure.
So,
Sorry, everyone. There's more content. Aww.
damn, what a shame. Speaking of more content, this is just between you and me, Lux.
Uh-huh.
As this is a commission I haven't had from you from a while, and due to our history as people, I may have hid a thing
No!
somewhere.
What?
In the same way that I have hid in your previous commission, there may have been something somewhere.
Oh.
There's actually a good amount hidden in
There's a good
color.
amount hidden. There's 2 things. One's a shitpost, one's a...
Color, if you put Lost in this, I swear to God.
Where's the fuck?
There's also a small thing hidden in mine too.
Where's
Yeah,
the fucking squib? Where's the squib, Color?
With a squib! It's a squish'em and you know it!
Where's the squish'em?
It's in the lower left corner.
Do I have to, like, increase the brightness?
No, just squint and you'll see
I
it.
fucking see it.
I see it! I see it!
Also, yes, Kate, there is also lost.
It's right.
Yeah, Lost is in
It's
there,
right here.
as well as some other things too.
All right, where's the other one?
You two suck.
You go into the, look on the, glyphs on the,
On the
The
wall
second I saw
building.
straight lines, I was like, color? Color?
Yes.
Why would you? Color?
Why would I hide
Color?
lost in an image?
Color?
The glyphs? The glyphs on the wall?
Go up where
Yeah.
the straight lines are.
It's
Why are they
behind his
patterned
head.
that way?
It's behind his head.
It's behind his... Oh, you
His head.
son of a bitch! Is that all of them?
No.
Well, technically no, but you can't see it because it was my. No one's going to see behind Solane, so I will make my own glyphs.
Oh, what did you draw?
I will send you technically the images by
Okay.
itself. But it's not going to be in the print. It's
Shirtless
just for my
Kibagami.
own purposes. Huh?
Shirtless Kibagami.
Oh my god, no.
Oh, you should have though. No,
I
it's
should have, yeah.
Emmy, did you say there's one in yours too?
it's very small. It's very small.
All right.
But yeah,
Alright, get in there.
it's in the armor in one of the pauldrons. It's slightly different color from the rest of the pauldron.
Is it on Adelaide?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I see it. Oh, Emmy.
I'm glad you could see it. I had to adjust it a lot to make sure it was kind of visible.
Oh,
I mean, I'm high-fiving in the background.
Yeah, that
I
was
am-
Color's idea.
I am so blind. What is this?
Do you not see it?
Amogus.
It's an amogus.
It's above the spikes, the golden spike
Uh-huh.
on
Lower
the
left
pauldron.
shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh. Hold on. I gotta make it more obvious.
Yeah, you just make it a little bit bigger, and
There you go.
Oh
There it is.
my god. You piece of shit. How
That was
this
Color's
Sean
idea.
knowingly sends me an Amogus? Great! Sends you hundreds of dollars?
exactly.
Like a
well,
fucking
the Amogus
moron?
wasn't there until the last two ones I sent you.
Oh my god. In-fucking-credible. Anyway. Alright, so now, if there's any last things that chat would like to say while I put this armor on. Armlet? She has the dagger, that's right. Okay. What else does she have?
And, Kate, I sent you what was behind Solane.
It's downloading. Oh no! Color, I was gonna ask if it was that, and I was like, no, Kate. Stop. Why? Never mind. I should have just asked. I should have just
No one
said
gets
it.
to know. No, you,
I know, but I'm proud of myself, and
I will-
also
I-
ashamed that
I take full responsibility for that one.
I was like, no one's
Artists.
gonna see. What do I do
fucking
on
artists, man.
No, Kate, during one of my comics coloring classes in college, one of my classmates would hide that in our projects constantly.
I have a friend who does that too, who's also an artist. Like, what's wrong with you people?
We're given space that no one's gonna ever see, and so we get to have our own personal love.
It's little secrets that we get to go, haha, only I know
This is like when musicians they record themselves saying stuff backwards and like,
Yes! Yes! Oh, it's juicy.
It's fun.
Okay, we need armor for him.
oh my god, it's my girl!
Wow!
Oh yes, wait, send the image again, Kate.
Okay. On Telegram?
Yeah, on Telegram. So when I went to go visit Kate earlier this week on Monday, she goes, I have a surprise for you when you get here. And Kate, do you want to tell the original story of the timing that I completely forgot about?
Yes. So, Sean and I were in San Francisco over this past weekend, and on the drive up, we were chatting about how much ETRIAN Odyssey he needed to do and how much grinding there was involved. And I was like, we're not even gonna get to see each other. We're not gonna get to hang out. Like, there is nothing. I think I said it in the sense of like, I could be the hottest, most beautiful person in the world, like, and it would not be able to distract you from getting this ETRIAN stuff done. And Sean just offhandedly goes, I mean, maybe if you dressed up as Win or something. And meanwhile, for the last 2 months, I've been thrifting and scavenging to be able to do just that.
And so this is what she surprised me with as I walked in on Monday.
It's so good!
Thanks.
Incredible. It was so on point that she remarked, I didn't have a chance to get the wig. And I'm like, to be honest, I forgot that her hair wasn't brown. So that's so good.
Thank you. I just wanted to treat Gil Catalyst one last time.
Hell yeah.
All right, y'all. As much as I want to keep going, Color agreed to be here under the assumption that I would finish within a certain time. Hey, we did it within 2 hours.
Yeah.
So here is the plan, y'all. When I finish stream, I'm really just gonna finish re-equipping everyone's armor. I may spend some initial skill points. I'm not sure. Next week is going to be... Hello, KM Sharon. Hold on, KM Sharon 95. All right. Next Wednesday is just going to be a finishing up stuff for the stream. In fact, I may do some leveling up during the wolf visit if we're down for the evening, just so that I'm ready for the following week. So next Wednesday is the second to last episode. There's no story. It is just me leveling up characters and also re-exploring the dungeons to fill out the rest of my encyclopedia. That means checking for any treasure chests that I missed. That means making sure there's any materials that I still needed to get, because, for example, we've only gotten half the items from treasure boxes. We've only logged half the monsters, so we have to make sure we're not missing any of those. We've only logged half the materials. So we might be pretty close to done. In fact, I think the only stuff remaining is getting all the treasure boxes, and then we're supposed to get the last of... Oh, no, there's a couple bonus bosses that we didn't get the regular drop from them, so I need to use formaldehydes to make sure that I'm able to get that drop. Yes, basically 100%ing the game other than the true final super boss. Because the goal is, when we beat that super boss and get its drop, that should be the final portion that gets us to 100%. And as you can see, we're at 99.41% item discovery. Like, we are so close to being done. So next week is an easy stream. It's mostly for us to chill, to chat. I'm hoping to make it an extended stream. You can ask me any questions about the story leading up to this point. It'll be like an impromptu Q&A. However, Wednesday, December 17th, the Wednesday before Christmas Eve, Wednesday, December 17th is going to be the final episode of ETRIAN Odyssey 4 and the end of the original lore playthrough. there will be a super boss fight. There will be ending cutscenes. There will be an epilogue. And if I have done my duty in impressing you today with what I'm capable of through my writing, I implore you to catch up on everything or rewatch this stream in preparation for that finale episode, because I promise it's gonna leave you with the same feelings that you went through today in an even better way. So, Kate, Color, Emmy, thank you so much for dedicating the time tonight. Kate, thank you for dedicating the time to practice the cutscenes. The timing on even the parts we didn't rehearse worked out better than I could have possibly fucking imagined. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm so happy with how it turned out.
It's so good.
The number of times that the end of a cutscene matched with the end of the music, even though I didn't originally plan for it, is... right, Vim?
So good.
We're here to chill out and calm down to some awesome art after having our emotions torn asunder by Sean and his writing prowess. Here is our raid phrase. Thank you all.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and I encourage you, if there's more love that you have yet to give for Emmy, for Color, for Kate, or even myself, we'd love to see it on the Discord chat. We'd love to see you encourage people who didn't tune in to go watch it. I had been waiting for this day since a couple months ago, and it went about as well as I could possibly hope. So, thank you for letting me explore what I would consider to be the height of some of my writing ability. Yeah, I'll catch you all next week. If not before Wednesday, then on Wednesday. And Emmy, I will catch you this weekend while we smooch some goddamn wolves.
I know. See you tomorrow, dude.
See you tomorrow. Literally less than 24 hours after making someone into a wolf, I myself am going to become one with the wolves.
Let's go!
All right. Good night, everybody. Stay adventurous, and I will see you next week for the penultimate episode. Good night.
Good night.